Okay, so I don't know how long this video is going to be or how long we're going to be able to record per se, but this is my, I don't know, home analogy for my belief on how a father is to raise daughters and sons. But I look at it as like, when you're raising them per se, you're building the foundation in a nutshell. And for both kids. And that's the family values and stuff, you know, um, things that you would teach both your kids is the foundation. Now, when it comes to the rest of it, I would think for your daughters, you would teach her and build up a house of a decent size with, working water, this and all that. You would teach her, have respect for your body, walk with grace, don't rate, speak for you before you talk. Some of these things you will be teach your son, but from a different angle. For your daughters, and this house that you build, this manual that you give your daughter to follow to find a husband to make her his wife. You make the house is the husband can add on to the house, and it's really easy for the husband. The way that the fathers make this house for their daughters, that houses all the wisdom and knowledge and guidance that they pass on to their daughters to find a good man that they could settle down with. Not settle for, settle down with. So that's my whole belief on like most. I mean, but it's going to be basics, to understand the world. Because my mind is to guide her to her husband. Her husband, in my personal belief, is his duty to educate her and teach her about the ways of life. My duty is to make sure she gets a good teacher. His duty is to make sure she is educated enough to understand what he needs from her, and that she feels safe to trust in his authority and leadership. For my son, my personal beliefs, I'm giving him obviously the foundation that you would give all your kids, the basics. But when it comes to the house part, that's more of the aspects like I'm giving him four walls. I'm giving him a roof. I'm giving him decent heat. I'm giving him a decent bathroom. But where I would make, where I would build and teach my daughter to a point where this house that I make for her is easy to add on to. Because I mean, I am going to be the mold of what a good man looks like, or a decent man looks like per se, in my daughter's eyes. So it's her husband's able to add on to it. Where my son, you know, and I'm going to be very open and honest with my daughter and their husband, and if they ever want to come to get my opinion about knocking down this wall or changing this, or how do I think about this, I'm here. My words of wisdom might be very rough and direct, but the man my daughter gets with is going to be able to handle the fire that I bring. Because I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to be blunt. And this is coming from a place of love, because we are family now. You are my daughter's husband, and you are a man. I'm going to talk to you that way. But back to my son. I mean, like I said, I'm gonna give him four walls, a roof, decent heat, decent plumbing and whatnot. But his house is not gonna be very easy to add on to, because he needs to go out there and, in a nutshell, go through the hero journey, to build himself, to take what I've taught him, and go out there and learn from life as well. Because I mean, men are the ones that need to go out there and conquer the world and conquer something, a matter of speaking, and find his principle and purpose. Because I mean, for men, I mean, women, you guys are here to be, everything to your husband, you know. give him children and prosper, and that's how you build your legacy, is building your family up. Children, children's children, children, grandchildren, great grandchildren. That's how you women build your legacy. Men, we go there. Our legacy, yes, that does mean a lot to us, our family. But our bloodline is more of our strong suit, and that lies with our sons, along with our purpose in the world. Because we are, men are designed per se to give everything to everything. Either a master of something or a handyman of all traits. It's either you're master of hopefully one thing, or at least you want to be decently good at everything. So it's either half or all. You don't go below half. I know that sounds really wrong. It doesn't really make sense per se right now. It's kind of fucking up my thought process, but that's where my son, his house that I help him build. It's like a tree house per se, or a little shack that he lives in while he builds his own house, does his own plumbing, learns the landscape of his home along with himself, along with his mind, what his values are about, what he's about. And becoming the man that you want your daughter with. That's one of my big goals. That you want your daughter with my son, and you want your son with my daughter. And my daughters are obviously going to be very gun ho, with desiring their father's approval of the man they choose to settle down with. My son, he is not gonna bring a girl home. And truly, he is. Maybe I'm giving away some of his secrets, so that way you women understand where you stand with him. But if he does not bring you home to meet mom and dad, he does not think of you as a serious option. So yeah. That's gonna be a key marker for you women out there to pay attention to with my son. If he doesn't bring you home to meet us, then he doesn't think of you as a serious option. That's one thing I'm definitely gonna ingrain in him, to bring home a girl that he thinks is a serious option. And he's gonna want to have a talk with mom and dad, and individually and together, to get our opinions on what we think of her. And I'm going to be very blunt and tell him exactly what I think. Obviously, after, I need to, obviously get to know you. I'm not just going to, I believe in my ability to read people, but I also don't have a problem admitting when I'm wrong. So instead of just jumping the gun, which I'm actually working on my patience, I'll get to know you. Maybe, hopefully, brings you around a few times. To get a feel for you, and then I let them know what I think. If she's actually somebody I think would be a good addition to our family. And like that, my daughters are definitely gonna desire and crave and have to have dad's approval of you. All right, my daughters, they have to have my approval, or I will not give my blessing to the wedding. You can still marry her, I just won't bless the wedding, and I probably won't be there. My son, you can call me sexist all you want, but my son, he doesn't really need, to get my blessing is one thing, to not get it is another. He's a man, he has to make hard decisions. What I think men are designed for. Men are designed to make the hard decisions. The tone back on emotions and our personal history and this and all, and look at the big picture of what happened and what it could lead to. Think about the future. Take these, steps very serious. One more move in all aspects of life. It can be all over, whether it's financial or the very existence of life. One wrong move and, there goes your ticket. So, I've definitely been thinking about all this stuff real deeply. and hopefully I can pass on this, understanding and knowledge that I've come to believe very highly, that I'm willing to die on the hill of my opinions and thoughts and theories and feelings and beliefs. And you can take it or leave it. Hopefully, I mean, it resonates with you and helps you make good decisions. Learn from my mistakes. And it's like a catch-22 because I wasn't ready to have kids, and it wasn't so much that them themselves were mistakes, that my children were mistakes, but the ability to not take care of them fully on my own definitely does, it's my mistake. I wish I was more ready and more financially set to take care of, a wife and kids. But, take accountability, humble yourself, man up, and do what you can do to make up, for not being ready. Yeah. Um, so that's what I'm working on, honestly. Working on myself, being a better example of what I preach about. Um, that's my big key marker. It's also why, I think what's been 2.5 years. I think that's probably the nicest I'm willing to be to myself, where I have officially sworn off, lying. I don't lie. If you don't like what I have to say, that's fine. But I'm honest. I'm blunt. You know how I feel. You know where I stand. No hard feelings. This is what I believe. This is where I stand. And I'm willing to have a long conversation and discussion about my beliefs and my opinions. If you're willing to listen and understand, you have an open mind and take it in, and give it a minute to digest before you just spaz out on me. But I understand that my way of thinking is very, heavy. But yeah.